Greetings to everyone. I am Sonakshi Sharma presenting a topic offenses against women. So coming to the content which we will discuss in this topic, as all of you can see that first there is introduction and then there what are these offenses, punishment under women's offenses, then ratio in India of offenses against women, and lastly the conclusion part. So beginning with our today's topic and in introduction, offenses against women involve several illegal acts that mainly influence women as gender-based violence like crimes targeting women due to their genders, encompassing physical, sexual, psychological, or economical harm. Abuse against women and girls is an awful infringement on human rights and continues among the greatest major obstacles to achieving gender equality. Women are particularly at risk for multiple kinds of assaults that have essential and long-lasting implication for the way they live. It includes acts of violence in the close relationships or households, and unlawful sexual actions include unwelcome touch and rape. Victims might be strangers, acquaintances, or even those from families. We hear in the headlines that a girl has been raped by a close relative. What they are a part of these offenses. Unwanted and comfortable behavior, such as written or physical actions, may take place in a wide range of circumstances, particularly on the workplace and on online communities. Even though offenses performed online involve cyberbullying, revenge pornographies, and illegal distribution of sexual data without permission. Dowry demand related offenses comprise harassment or violence towards spouses as a consequence of dowry disagreements over payments. Nextly, repeated and unwanted attention, which includes observing or monitoring, may create distress and fear in the individual who is targeted. All these allegations emphasizes the significance of broad efforts to confront as well as avoid violence against women while simultaneously safeguarding their rights and promoting equality among women. Now coming to the next slide, which shows what are these offenses, which means what type of these offenses can be of. But here I cited some of them as there are uncountable offenses against women. First, there is domestic violence. What do you mean by domestic violence? So domestic violence refers as when one person in a close relationship uses physical, emotional, or verbal abuse to control or harm the other. It can involve intimidation, isolation, or coercion, causing fear and harm. Victims often endure a cycle of abuse. Recognizing and addressing it is a crucial for promoting safety and well-being within families. When the Indian Penal Code 45 of 1860 was amended in 1983, Section 498A was inserted, which deals with matrimonial cruelty and is defined as husband or relative of husband of a woman subjecting her to cruelty. Matrimonial cruelty has now been made a cognizable and non-bailable plus non-compoundable offense. And in India, 32% of every married woman complained of physical, sexual, or emotional violence by the man in their lives over their entire lives. The most common types of domestic abuse in India are physical, which is about 28%, next to emotional, which is about 14%, and the sexual, which is about 6%. There is one famous case law of domestic violence, that is Shobha Rani versus Madhukar Reddy, 1988. In this case, it was held that evidence as to harassment to the wife to meet any unlawful demand for money is necessary to constitute cruelty in criminal law. This is the requirement of the offence of cruelty defined under section 498A of IPC. It was further held that cruelty need not to be only intentionally, willful or deliberate. It is not necessary to provide the intention in the matrimonial offences. Second is sexual assault, which refers to any unwanted sexual contact or behavior without the open consent of all involved parties. It includes actions such as unwanted touching, examining, or forcing someone to engage in sexual activities against their will. Sexual assault is a serious violation of personal boundaries and is a criminal offense in many jurisdictions. It is important to promote consent, respect, and understanding to prevent such incidents. Sexual assault was reported every 16 minutes in India in 2019. If we are looking at the report of sexual assault, this figure was 15 minutes in 2018. In 2019, the national average rape rate per 1 lakh population was 4.9, slightly less than 5.2 in 2018 and 2017. The landmark case in sexual assault is Nirbhaya case, which is known to everyone. In this case, a 23-year-old psychotherapy intern was brutally assaulted by 6 men on the bus. Brutal gang rape and murder that occurred in Delhi, India in December 2012 led to widespread outrage and protests. The Supreme Court upheld the death penalty for the accused parties. With this, the third is harassment, which refers as when someone behaves in a way that makes another person feel upset, threatened, or uncomfortable. It can take various forms such as unwanted comments, gestures, or action that create a distressing environment for the person experiencing it. Harassment is often repetitive and can occur in different settings like the workplace, schools, or public spaces. And it's important to address and prevent harassment to ensure a safe and respectful environment for everyone. Sections 294, 354, 354A, 498A, 509, etc. can be invoked for mental harassment in India depending upon the kind of harassment and the fact of the cases. So, there is one landmark case of Vishakha versus State of Rajasthan, and this is of 1997. In this case, Banwari Devi, a social worker in a program to stop child marriages, stopped a child marriage that was taking place in an influential Gujar family, and the Gujars were held burnt on taking revenge. One Ramakant Gujar, along with 5 of his men, brutally gang raped her in front of her husband. In this case, the Supreme Court addressed the issue of sexual harassment in the workplace, and also it stated that sexual harassment in the workplace is a serious breach of fundamental rights under Article 14, 19 and 21. Fourthly is cyber crimes, which refers as a bad action that happens on internet or using computers. People do things that are against the law, like stealing information, spreading computers viruses, or tricking other online It's like online rule breaking that can harm people or their computer stuff. Cyber crimes include hacking, identity theft, and online fraud. It's important to be careful and use strong password to protect against these kinds of crimes. The cybercrime rate increased from 3.9 cases per 100,000 people in 2021 to 4.8 in 2022. The case law of cybercrime is Shreya Singhal versus Union of India 2015. In this case, two women were arrested under section 66A of the Informational Technological Act after they posted allegedly offensive and objectionable comments on Facebook concerning the complete shutdown of Mumbai after the demise of a political leader. Supreme Court held that the mere discussion of even advocacy of a cause, no matter how unpopular, is at the heart of the freedom of speech and expression. It was found that Section 66A was capable of restricting all forms of communication, and it contained no distinction between mere advocacy or discussion on a particular cause that is offensive to someone. Fifth is dowry death, which is refers as when a woman is harmed or killed by her husband or in-laws because they are not satisfied with the dowry that can be of money, gifts or property given by her family during marriage. It's a serious crime and reflects gender-based violence. The law aims to prevent such incidents and protect women from harm or death caused by disputes related to dowry. Dowry issues cause 1.4 deaths per year per 1 lakh women in India. One of landmark case in dowry that is State of Madhya Pradesh versus Jogendra 2022. In this case was held that the most important element for attracting liability under section 304B of IPC is that the death must be a dowry death. The sixth one and the last one is stalking, which refers as when someone repeatedly and unwantedly follows, watches or contacts another person, making them feel scared or uncomfortable. It can happen in person or online. Stalkers may send messages or show up where the person goes or monitor them without permissions. Stalking is against the law and can cause emotional distress. In 2021, a total of 9,285 cases of stalking were reported, showing nearly one case being reported every hour and 25 cases being reported in a day. The famous case in stalking is Priya Matu case, 1996. In this case, where a young law student was stalked by stalker Mr. Santosh Singh, who was son of a former IPS officer, raped her, murdered her in her home in Delhi. The High Court firstly awarded him the death penalty, which was later granted life imprisonment by Supreme Court in Delhi 2010. Now coming to the next topic, which states punishments under women's offenses. Dowry related crimes, domestic violence, sexual harassments, rapes and stalking are all punishable by varying degrees of jail or penalties. Legal frameworks work to discourage and charge criminals while also improving women's safety and security. Here I am citing some acts and only 3 sections of each topic. So, if firstly talk about it, is Domestic Violence Act 2005. So its first section is, so its first point is section 2A, domestic violence. This section says that domestic violence is not just physical harm. It includes any behavior that hurts someone in a close relationship, like threats or emotional harm. Example, if someone constantly threatens their partner saying they will harm them or their family, it falls under domestic violence as per this section. Second, section 2Q, shared households. A shared household is the place where the person facing violence lives with the accused. It could be a house or any place they used to live together. Example, if a couple lives together in an apartment and the woman is asked to leave after marriage, she can claim her right to stay there using this section. Then the third point, section 3, definitions. This section explains what certain words mean in the law, like who is the person facing violence, what is a domestic relationship, and the role of others involved. Example, if a woman and a man are in a relationship and living together, they are considered in a domestic relationship under this section. Then next is the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. First, section 376A, which states punishment for causing death or resulting in a persistent vegetative state in the course of sexual assault, which refers if someone causes death or serve injury like a coma while committing a sexual assault, they can be given a more severe punishment. Example, if an assault leads to the death of the victim, the perpetrator may face harsher punishment under this section. Secondly, section 376D, gang rape. If a group of people is involved in raping someone, all of them can be held responsible for the crime. For example, if multiple individuals participate in a sexual assault, each one can be charged with gang rape. Thirdly, section 354A, sexual harassment. Acts like which states acts like unwelcome physical contact, passing lewd comments, or making sexual gestures can be considered sexual harassment. For example, inappropriate touching or making sexual suggestive comments can be considered sexual harassment under this section. Next is sexual harassment of women at workplace, prevention, prohibition and redressal, Act 2013. First, so its first section is section 2E, aggrieved women, which refers an aggrieved woman is someone who believes she has been subjected to sexual harassment at the workplace and wishes to file a complaint. For example, if a female employee feels uncomfortable due to inappropriate comments from a colleague and wants to take action, she is considered an aggrieved woman under this section. Secondly, section 4, which states Constitution of Internal Complaints Committee, ICC, which refers every workplace must be a committee called the Internal Complaints Committee, ICC, to address complaints of sexual harassment. For example, if an employee experiences harassment, she can approach the ICC, which will investigate and take necessary action to resolve the issues. Thirdly, section 9, which states inquiry and refers as This section outlines the process of conducting an inquiry into a complaint of sexual harassment, ensuring a fair and impartial investigation. As for example, if a complaint is filed, the ICC will inquire into the matter by talking to the parties involved, gathering evidence and making a fair decision based on the facts. Now next is Information Technology Act 2000. So its first section is so its first point is section 43, penalty and compensation for damages to computer systems, etc., which refers if someone damages a computer or its data, they may face penalties and have to compensate for the harm caused. For example, hacking into someone's computer and causing data loss or system damage could lead to penalties under this section. Second, section 66, computer related offenses, which states committing offenses like hacking, introducing viruses or stealing digital information is illegal and can be punished under this section. As for example, unauthorized access to someone's email's account with the intent to steal information may be considered a computer related offense. Third, section 72, which states breach of confidentiality and privacy, which refers as sharing someone's private information without permission is a breach of confidentiality and privacy and it is prohibited. As for instance, if an employee leaks confidential company data to a competitor, they could be held liable under this section for breaching confidentiality. Now last is the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961. First, section 2, which states definition of dowry, that refers dowry means any property or valuable security given or agreed to be given directly or indirectly before or after marriage as a demand. As for example, if the groom's family asks for a large sum of money or valuable items as a condition for marriage, it falls under the definition of dowry. Second, section 3, penalty for giving or taking dowry, which refers giving or taking dowry is a criminal offense and those involved can be punished with imprisonment or a fine. For example, if a bride's family gives a substantial amount of money or assets to the groom's family as a condition for marriage, both parties can face penalties under this section. Third, section 4, penalty for demanding dowry, which refers demanding dowry is also punishable offense and those making such demands can face imprisonment or fines. For example, if the groom or his family explicitly asks for a specific amount of money or valuable items is a condition of marriage, they may be penalized under this section. Now coming to the next part of the topic, that is ratio in India of offenses against women. As on the top, I have discussed about the ratio of offenses against women in India, but here I am elaborating it a little bit to make you more understandable in a better way. So in Uttar Pradesh, is on the top of women offense in India. The crimes against women were up by 4% in the year 2022. A data by National Crimes Record Bureau (NCRB) released it. According to report, cruelty by husband or his relatives accounted to the majority of crimes against women. Juveniles were involved in 86 cases of rape, 68 cases were of outraging of modesty of women, 22 cases of kidnapping and abductions, 286 cases were related to hurt, 862 cases of theft, 235 cases of robberies and 24 cases of rash driving in 2022 in Delhi. Kerala has the highest rate of filing charge sheets in the country for offences under the IPC, according to the NCRB report. But Kolkata emerged as the safest city in the India for the third consecutive year, recording the least number of cognizable offences per lakh population among metropolises, the NCRB reports. And in last, I would conclude the topic with some points. Those are, despite any law in place to protect and to preserve women, the crime rate against women in the country is rising daily. And there are several crimes against women, including acid attacks, rapes, domestic abuse, voyeurism, and so on. The prohibition of evil eye on women, as well as the installation of social ethics, morality and values, respect and honor in all humankind towards women, is urgently needed and can contribute to a reduction in the number of crimes committed against women. However, more rigorous regulation are required so that any individual planning to conduct such crimes lacks the guts to act in pursuit of his objective. There is a need for social awakening and a shift in public opinion so that women receive the respect and equality they deserve. It's time for women to be paid their due. This awakening can be brought about by an educational campaign among the young that informs them to current societal ills and how to abolish them. Thank you.